Yo, back with another video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Try to keep these videos coming because it's been a while. So this is definitely will be more content rolling in. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff on my mind, so we're gonna get right to it. So this one's a little bit on the serious side. Definitely on the serious side. So we had a tournament yesterday in SoCal, so I'm driving up back home to NorCal, and chill, spend time with my family, of course, do my normal routine from a long tournament, shower, unpack, all that type of good stuff, and had a really, really good sleep. Got some good sleep in. So I wake up this morning at about 9:30, which is usually later than usually what I wake up, but long drive. I had the opportunity of sleeping in. Summer school's over as far as training. Now our training sessions are going to be, a little bit later in the day. So I got a little bit more time in my hands in the morning. So I slept in a little bit, 9:30. Woke up, probably like everybody do. Back then it was wake up and, freshen up, and you might turn on the news or turn on the newspaper. Well, in 2022, we turn our phones on and we go to Instagram or Twitter, right? So I go to Instagram, and one of the few things that stuck out to me was a youth football coach being killed at a game in front of his 9-year-old son. Ooh, man, that's good lighting right there. Good lighting. I had to change directions in the car. I'm driving my car. I'm on my iPad right now, so yeah, better lighting. But anyways, yeah, man, a youth football coach got killed. And what's crazy is I seen the story as I'm looking and doing the research on the story. Allegedly, the person that was behind it was former NFL star player Aqib Talib, cornerback. It was his brother. That's allegedly what they're saying. But I don't want to go into details about that situation because it's very tragic. And I've actually, I'm not going to go too deep in that as far as what happened, how it happened. I'm not going to go in detail. But what I am going to talk about is how toxic youth sports has gotten within the past couple years. Touchy subject, man, touchy subject. So I'm going to try to, go around this the best way I can. But how can I put this? So as in my position, right, being a head coach and trainer and operating out of an inner city, we got kids that do come from everywhere. We have kids that come from really, really nice areas as well. But when they're coming to us, they're coming to Solano County, and 9 times out of 10 they're coming to Vallejo, which is considered inner city. So I see a lot of situations where we deal with parents that are not, always the most easy to deal with. And this is not even an inner city thing or non-inner city thing or a race thing or a class thing or any of that. I'm just saying there are rich, terrible parents. There are rich, great parents. There are poor, great parents. There are poor, terrible parents. So, I don't think the class, and it's all races of it, I don't think the class or the race or any of that has anything to do with it. But what I'm trying to say is, from my upbringing, growing up in Vallejo, California, and the type of people that I grew up around, and the type of people that I saw growing up when I was playing youth sports when I was young, we saw a lot of people that came from rough backgrounds. We saw a lot of people that had reputation for stuff. You know what I'm saying? We saw that. We grew up around that. And during my entire childhood, yes, we might saw a fight here and there, you know what I'm saying? But during my entire time as a child, during my entire time as a child playing youth sports, I've never ever seen any situation result to that. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying nothing ever happened. I'm not saying this is the first time things like this has taken place where a coach loses their life at a sports event. But what I'm saying is, I've never seen it. close up, and I haven't been around people that saw the same thing in our neighborhood, right? So I think this is a part of a bigger problem. Okay? I think this is a part of a bigger problem. I think youth sports is definitely toxic. It's not all toxic, but it can be very toxic. I think there's no debate about that. Parents are out of control. And the fact that this is the kids that are involved in these situations are so young, man. And it's like the younger the parents, the younger the kids are, the worse the parents act. It really sucks that it's like that, bro. But it is. But I think this is a part of a bigger problem. So, and I'm gonna go a little bit off topic, and I'm gonna tie it back in. So stay with me. So, during my downtime, me being a basketball trainer and a basketball coach, during my downtime, I watch basketball a lot. Like it's the off season right now, so I might watch old school games, classic games. Like the other night I watched the Game 7 to 2002 Lakers and Kings, great game, right? So in my downtime, I'm always trying to get better at my craft as a coach or a trainer. But I'm not doing all basketball. I'm not watching all basketball, right? So another thing that I usually watch on YouTube, because I'm a YouTube head, is I'm really into these real life documentaries, these hood and gang documentaries. I'm really into it. I'm not a gangbanger or never claimed the hood or none of that, but the reason why I'm so into it is because I like people who tell real stories, and it's very intriguing to me because, for example, when you listen to people like the Big U's and all these infamous, people that were involved in gang life, right? You hear these people talk about their stories and, stories of the gang or themselves personally. And one thing sticks out, right? One thing sticks out to me is how mentally tough these people are. And they always talk about their jail stories of how they go to jail, they go to the county jails, or they go to the prison or whatever. And they see somebody of a rival gang, and the first thing they got to do is they got to squabble, they got to fight. They have to fight. Listen to what I'm saying. They have to fight their hands. You might get a few people in jail that might have access to a shank or something like that, or a knife or whatever. But even with that, that's a different type of situation than somebody having a gun, right? Stay with me. So when you hear these gang members talk about, the fist fights they gotta have in jail with their rivals, after those fight takes place, it's not that they're 100% cool with the person that they fought, but there is a respect level for them because they was able to squabble and they didn't turn down no fades, right? So you look at society today, right? And we're in a show me society. We're in a show me era with Instagram, the pictures and everything else, right? So you see a lot of these people nowadays, and you see people toting guns and taking pictures with guns and things like that. But you got to ask yourself, of all these people that show off with these guns and pulling these drive-bys and doing whatever they do, right? You got to ask yourself, how many of these people that you see doing these activities, how many of these people can really survive in a jail setting where there's no guns and they got to fight? They got to use their fists. They got to use their fists to handle their situations. They got to use their fists to handle ops, right? They got to use their fists when they don't get along with somebody and they can't, get over something through a conversation. They got to use their fists to solve their problems. So you ask yourself, of all these people that are glorifying guns, when you're in jail, there's no running to a gun. There's no running to a gun in jail. So tying it back into this youth situation, and even the real world, because I think it all ties together. Even those that do these mass shootings and shooting up elementary school and all these type of situations, right? We really gotta break this down of why this stuff is happening, because it all relates. It all even a person shooting at a football game or a person doing a mass shooting, all of it relates, in my opinion. It all goes back, and I'm not talking about anybody personally. I'm just breaking things down. I think it all ties back to us in society in today's world. We are dealing with a situation of people that are emotional killers. Emotional killers. I'm gonna say it again. We're dealing with people that are dealing with they're emotional killers. They can't handle their emotions. They can't handle being bullied. They can't handle somebody approaching them directly. They can't handle their girlfriend leaving them for somebody else, right? They can't handle somebody talking about how funny their nose looks, or so we're dealing with a group of people that when they get in their feelings and they're bothered by something verbally, because they're not used to squabbling and getting down and fighting, they're running to the chop and they're letting anybody have it. And that's just real talk. All this stuff relates, man. People's like, what's wrong with the world today? What's wrong with society? That's what's wrong with society. We're dealing with a group of people in today's world that can't handle their emotions, bro. The ability to handle emotions should be taught in preschool. Let's spend less time teaching the algebra formulas and the calculus formulas, and let's spend more time teaching these people how to handle their emotions. Because I'm telling y'all, all this stuff relates. Whether it's somebody getting killed at a youth football game, which is crazy, or whether somebody's shooting up a school, which is crazy, or whether somebody's getting mad over over their girlfriends, or the girlfriends left them and got a new dude, now the new dude's in the house and the ex-dude go in there and shoot. I'm telling you, bro, we're dealing with a group of people that can't handle their emotions. So when I tie it back into the documentaries that I'm into, I'm watching these gang dudes, man. These are not just strong physical people physically, they're strong as hell mentally, because they went through all the stuff like these people of today are going through. But the difference is they got down, they squabbled. They get to the jail settings and they fighting. You got people that like gang bang, and you got all these different like rival hoods and stuff, and you get to the jail and you might have like 3 to 5 different fights lined up of different sets of people that want to fight just you, and you got to fight, and you can't turn down the fade. But the point is, you get win, lose, or draw, you get your pride stays high, because you're able to walk away saying, you know what, man, I'm not turning down no fade, but I can't run to no gun in this jail setting, and I got to use my fists to get through the situation. No matter how bad this person talked about me or whatever, I got to use my fist to handle the situation. I'm not saying violence is always the answer. No, because violence is not the answer. There are situations where you may not even have to go to a fist fight. You may can just have a nice conversation. But if the conversation don't work, I'd rather see 2 people fight it out, or 2 men or 2 women fight it out, than to see people run to guns, and now we're killing people. That once the life is gone, it's gone forever. Now that child got to grow up without his father. Now it's a domino effect, bro. And it's like, do we got to run to the guns every time there's a problem? Are people that scared to take an A whooping? Are we that scared to fade with somebody? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying fighting is always the answer. I'm gonna say that again, but it can't go from a conversation straight to gunplay though. It's just, man, it's so much things, and it's so many things in this world that are preventable. And when you tie it back to youth sports, this is so bad, man. This is so bad, because as a coach, we all gotta really watch everything. We gotta watch how we talk to parents, because we don't know if what we say is really gonna hurt their feelings. And if they're super emotional, there's no telling what they're gonna do. There's no telling what they're gonna do. There's no telling how bad of a day they had, and they're just waiting to just let off on somebody. There's no telling. We also gotta watch how our parents deal with other parents at these games. I'm gonna say this again, because this is This is something that coaches really got to really start checking now. We have to check our own parents about how they act at our games. I don't care if it's them going off on the ref or them getting into it with the opposing team's parents. We got to keep that in check, because that can lead into some bad stuff, bro. I've seen a lot of situations where parents be really literally shouting at each other because of a game. You know, we're in a competitive game, and now you got one side of parents going at it with the opposite side of parents. And once again, I see it in high school, but it's way worse at the younger ages. Oh my goodness. Don't let a referee miss a foul call and the ref go off on and the parents go off on the ref, and the parents are celebrating. Now the parents is going off on the other parents. It's just so toxic, bro. It's like a competition on who can be the toughest parent. And it's like, bro, are y'all forgetting what this thing is about? It's about the kids. What example are you setting for your child if their child is looking at you sitting down and you arguing with a ref about ready to fight another parent? You think that's something that any kid should feel proud over? Now, I'm not saying let any parent just punk you. I'm not saying let anybody disrespect you. Yes, there's a level of respect. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm speaking to those that just do too much, bro. Like, it's not even worth it. And AAU coaches, man, we really got to start having a protocol when it comes to this, bro, because it's going to get out of hand. It's going to get out of hand, dude. Youth sports is going to get out of hand, but it ties back into people dealing with their emotions. You got to learn how to deal with your emotions, bro. And I was born in the early 90s, grew up in the 2000s, you know, in my era, and people can comment on this because they know what I'm about to say is real. You know, you grew up during that time. We were raised in an era where people told us, don't be no punk. Don't let nobody punk you. You gonna let him talk to you like that? You gonna let her talk to you like that? Don't stand for that. I wouldn't go for that. We come up in the era where it's like we hype up somebody to do something that could be a negative reaction, right? And I'm not saying, like, once again, I'm not saying let anybody punk you or disrespect you. That's just not what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is you gotta make a decision and self-analyze the situation. Self-analyze the situation or the scenario and ask yourself, is this worth it? What are we arguing over? You know what I'm saying? And not only that, dang, man, you got to speed up, man. You see this big old truck coming. Sorry about that, man. People can't drive. I don't know how they be getting these L's. They just be giving anybody a driver's license in California. Man. But anyways, self-analyze the situation, because I'm not going to argue back and forth about something that's just not worth nothing. Sometimes it might be better to just walk away and not say nothing, bro. Does it really make you a punk for avoiding a situation that you know is just going to go to the most negative extreme? And then you think about what you're arguing over and it's not that important? Like, sometimes you really do got to walk away. Sometimes walking away makes you more tough than being a punk. And when you're dealing with people that can't control your emotions, it's probably better to just walk away. Real talk, bro. It's better to just walk away, because I don't want to deal with somebody that can't deal with a person that can't deal with their emotions. Is probably the scariest person on earth. Because that has nothing to do with physical frame, race, if a person is hood or not, if a person gangbangs or not. Like, that has nothing to do with it. Like, somebody who can't control their emotions, there's no telling what that person is going to do, and there's no telling what extreme that person is willing to go to prove a point. That's the type of person you cannot sit there and argue with. That's the type of person you can't sit there and go back and forth with. That's just real talk, bro. The name of the game is surviving. I'm understanding that. I didn't understand that as a young. Maybe it's my age talking. I'm 30. You know what I'm saying? The name of the game is surviving, bro. I want to have a great beard. I want to live old enough to have a great beard, bro. I'm just keeping it 1,000. The name of this game is surviving. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather lose the battle to win the war, man. And I feel like, I mean, sometimes you can definitely be in the wrong place in the wrong time, for sure, most def. But there are some things that are preventable, And sometimes the most preventable way is by walking away, because these cats out here can't control their emotions, and they are going to the extreme to do crazy things, bro. And I see it all the time in youth sports. I see it with mothers. I see it with fathers. I see it even with coaches. We got emotional coaches. We got emotional coaches. Let's talk about emotional coaches too. Let's talk about these coaches where you're celebrating and these coaches are talking to you now. Like, you can't celebrate for your own team. Let's talk about these emotional coaches that every time something don't go well for a ref, they're going to the most extreme, trying to fight the refs. Let's talk about it. People got to learn to control their emotions, bro. Those who don't control their emotions do shit that don't make sense. Excuse my language, but we got to just keep it real here on this channel. When you can't control your emotions, you're going to do stuff that never makes sense. So when you look at these people that commit these crazy crimes, you got to ask yourself, were they emotional? Did they know how to control their emotions or not? Was there something that said that triggered that person to say, you know what, forget it. It's bad. It's bad to think about, but I think youth sports has gotten toxic because of the adults. And when you think about the most toxic form of the adults in youth sports, I'm going to say 98% of them are the ones that can't control their emotions. And that's from the parents. That's from the parents to the coaches, to the trainers. Stay safe out here, man. Prayers up to the family that's been involved. And the name of this game is to survive, bro. So keep that in mind, man. You know, life is precious. Think about all those kids that had to witness that, and how much that's going to hurt them. Over one person's decision to not control their emotions led to these kids being scarred for life, bro. It's crazy. So, you know, I just want to make sure people understand that some things just aren't worth arguing over. Sometimes you just got to walk away and just, you know what, let them have it. I want to be able to go home and go to my child and forget it. I don't got nothing to prove to nobody, because you fight. Even when you fight, man, you got to worry about somebody coming back. You know what I'm saying? And doing something to you. So stay safe out here, man. And the name of the game is to survive. Hope everybody have a good one. We out.